Good morning. Happy Sunday. And boy, do we have an exciting revelation in the NFL. A rookie from 2004 has found himself back in the NFL. What's crazy is Phillip Rivers had a one-day contract with the Chargers at the beginning of the year so he could retire a Charger. The guy is in discussions of a Hall of Fame ballot. And, you know, the couch just gets boring. He retires an Unk, gets rehired a Gramps. And I want to just exclaim for the folks. In 2004, when our good friend Phillip Rivers was a rookie, Facebook had just launched for only Harvard students. Gmail was launched by Google. The final episode of Friends aired. The Nintendo DS console was released. The Motorola Razr, an iconic flip phone, was released for $499.
That's not bad.
Mean Girls and Shrek 2 debuted. Okay. And Mr. Brightside by the Killers began its record-breaking run on the UK singles. As far as news and sports go, the Red Sox won the World Series.
I think that was the one they broke the curse.
Yes. The curse of the Bambino.
Yeah.
The Super Bowl halftime show featured a wardrobe malfunction with Janet Jackson. Yeah, I was on a school bus going to school the next day. That tells you how far ago this was. Being like, did you see? No, I looked away. That my horror is that was the time I looked away. I wasn't even paying attention. Everybody's like, you missed it. There was a boob. George W. Bush was reelected. A massive earthquake and tsunami hit the Indian Ocean, and the Summer Olympics were held in Athens, Greece. 2004. Now this guy's back.
Oh, baby. Golly. Uh-oh. Shoot. Oh, my gosh.
Golly.
Shoot. Don't kill me. Aggravates the stew out of me.
Aggravates the stew out of me. That's a great one.
Right this second? I'm not sure, Greg. How about that? That's an honest answer.
I'm not sure.
Of all the clips that have come out, and you know we're gonna go through more of them, but that one is my favorite. First question: how much you weigh? I don't know, Greg.
And you know what? The guy who asked the question, totally valid question.
Yeah.
Like, how much do you weigh, dude? Do you even know that? I admire Phillip Rivers because I truly think is now the last bastion of our childhood dying. Yep. And him coming back for one last hurrah, it just brings out like a childhood joy excitement in me that I know isn't going to last long, but I'm sure as hell going to enjoy it for the few weeks that we get to have it.
Well, and I really want to it's a breath of energy for a team that I do think really needed it, because I got to tell you, after watching the Colts this past week, I kept thinking the whole time I'm watching that game, the only thing I could think about is if you go through our series of episodes, the mid-season predictions, like who's the team to look out for? Oh, yeah. They were the only team still entirely undefeated. They were dominating the league, and it was like, well, everybody else we're talking about who should be in the conversation, but who definitively is the Colts. Now we're at a point where it's like they're lucky to even be around the conversation. Yeah. So I think it brings a new hope. There's going to be a new energy in the locker room, some laughs. I mean, just the levity alone will transfer onto the field.
He's such a ball player, though, you know,
yes.
And like he's such a great locker room.
Well, and he's
guy,
a player's player,
you know, because like he's got kids that are like these rookies' ages. You know what I mean? So for him, it's like him being in the locker room. He's like, I know what these kids are talking about and how they are. Like, I have kids their age. It's just, and you know, before we get into that though, I do want to say, hey, Daniel Jones, I really hope you have a great recovery. You really, I did feel bad.
Yeah.
Like, his comeback year, like that was a really rough thing to see. I really hope the best for him, and I hope the Colts let him come back. Like, I really, but like not the Phillip Rivers. This is just fun. It's just exciting. It's like whenever the Browns go to like a quarterback that was like Jameis, it's like just play him. I just want to have fun now.
And okay, look at this crap I'm stuck wearing. Like, I'm a Browns fan.
Look at that.
And as a Browns fan that's just rooting for the first round draft pick, it gives me something to get excited about. I know it's futile, but I'm a Browns fan, so most of my football excitement is futile. But as a football player whose kind of career legacy is always getting so close to the end but never making it, it's like, man, if you could get this Colts team to the Super Bowl, that's a wanderlust story.
That'd be the biggest Wanderlust story for me. If I'm like just Indianapolis, hey, let's just be a playoff team.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You just salvaged it to play. It's like Flacco coming back.
And they're in the position where they will be.
They're still
so it's like, I can't wait to see what comes out of this today.
And it's crazy. His first game back since he retired like 4 years ago is at a 4:30 game against Seattle.
And okay, going back to that midseason dialogue of teams to be wary about who's dominating the league, Seahawks have held their position all season.
Yeah, no,
this is a solid wall to be up against your first time back in the league.
And no one's more excited for that than Phil Rivers. He's just got that dog in him. Like, he's like, man, I'm gonna go out there and throw for 250.
Exactly. Like, so when he was pushed on the question of why are you even doing this, pretty great answer.
You want to do this? Why do you think you can do this?
Yeah, that could be a long one. I'll try to keep it simple. Coach that I love, an organization that I really enjoyed being with, a game that I thought I was done playing. Certainly, I wasn't really hanging on any hope of playing again. Something about it excited me. It's kind of one of those deals, the door opens and you can either walk through it and find out if you can do it or run from it. I know that there's risk involved, obviously, of what may or may not happen, but the only way to find out is going for it. I just felt almost like it was a gift, another opportunity to play, and the dream that you got to live, you may get some bonus time, and here I stand.
Here he stands.
And that's when he said like the risk involved. The one thing I do hope out of all this is like, man, just don't get hurt. Like, just don't get like a bad injury, because it is great. It's great not just for him because he seems excited about it, but like for us, the fans, we're loving it. I can't imagine there's a single NFL fan in the league right now that's like, oh, I can't believe he's doing it. It's like, this is great.
The fans, but there's outside players that have opinions.
Oh, I'm sure.
And we're going to get to those.
But here's the thing too. It's like he said, like if this was a different organization, I'm sure he doesn't take it. He only played for the Chargers and the Colts.
Right.
So I'm sure there was that relationship open enough to where he's like, I played here. I like the people that are still in the building here. Like, why wouldn't I consider this opportunity? That just like sort of just fell into his lap. Like, it's not like they were having a rough year and called him. It's like, no, they were having a really good year. They still are having a really good year. And it's just an unfortunate injury. Are we going to go to the rookie who hasn't played a snap yet? Or
someone that knows the organization?
Get on the phone with someone and call him. And it's like, call Phil. The worst he could say is no. Like that's kind of it.
Well, and I appreciate you bringing us back to that kind of relationship. He only has two teams, the Chargers and the Colts. And I want to address one of the questions that were posed to him with that kind of dynamic, right? You're hired for a day by the Chargers, signed for a day so you can retire a Charger. Now you're re-signed with the Colts. And it's going to get into kind of the finicky language of whatever that contract looks like. But the part of my take did raise a good question about that. But first, here's their back and forth.
Chargers in July, and you're a semifinalist for the Football Hall of Fame, which that could change if you play. So all of that, did that weigh at all just for your team to come back? And I guess what about this game, all these years in, that you just can't quit?
Yeah, the Chargers deal in the summer was special and emotional. Shoot, they surprised me with those linemen coming down there, and again, that was the intent. I mean, again, I've not given any thought of actually, playing again, until about 48 hours ago, to be honest with you. So, but it seemed like this wasn't just any place or any coach. Or it wasn't, it's not like, oh shoot, I'll see what happens in the league and I'll see if I can get ready. It wasn't that. And you mentioned the Hall of Fame. I mean, it's been a real, it's a real honor to be mentioned with those other 25 guys, certainly. But that's just not. I'm not holding my breath on that, and I'm not. Hey, I hadn't been counting down the years. I mean, and with all respect to the Hall, and if one day I can be a part of that group, it will be special, no question about it. But the extension of that time, if that comes to be, was not a factor in my thinking.
I was thinking about that. Like, if he plays, because he is like up for it, and
he was mentioned.
I assume it will restart, but I actually didn't know for sure. So
I think it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it does. That's what it said on the
So it's going to restart. That affects his eligibility. It's interesting that he's like, yeah, that's the least of my concerns, which it should, because no matter what, then let the clock start over. No matter what, I'm not out of the conversation. The bigger piece, though, that part of my take raised, which is if you signed with a certain team, what are those implications in playing just for another team within that same exact season? Is there a discharge within the Chargers organization that, because part of the question that they were fishing for is, can they bar the signing of the Colts bringing in Phillip Rivers because because he signed that contract and they own the right to him for this season? Now, I got to imagine, like Joe Hayden, there's something in the language that completely and finalizes it within that deal.
Yeah.
Especially because we know you're not paying me.
Mm-hmm.
So how much can you really bind me? You're letting me play. It's like a volunteer relationship more than you're paying. It's not even, maybe you even give me $1. So that way it's concretely a contract, but you're not paying me $15,000.
We all know it's more of a ceremonial thing.
Exactly.
A legitimate business contract.
But it is interesting that, of course, the sports nerds start fishing, and I'm curious to see. Obviously, nothing's going to come of it because the Chargers and all of the people involved have such an amicable relationship. It would be funny, though, if it was something like Joe Hayden and it's the Browns and the Steelers, and he signs for us for a day, and it's like, oh, no. You don't get him back now.
Yeah.
I could see us playing that game.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like for the Chargers, it's like, I'm sure if you were to talk to people that are still in that organization that were there when Phil was there, they're probably happy for him. They're like, dude, hey, Phil, we all know dude could play till the wheels fall off. Like, we love that about him, you know? I'm sure there's zero animosity there, especially for them. It's like when Flacco left Baltimore and they played Lamar. It's like, look at the Chargers. It's like they replaced him with Justin Herbert. They have no regrets. Like, they're like, hey, looking back, they made the right choice. They did make the right choice. So for them, it's like, I'm not going to hold anything against Phil if he wants to keep playing.
Right.
Like, he wants to keep looking good for. They probably look at him and be like, I hope this helps him get into the Hall of Fame more. Like, that's probably how much they appreciated that relationship that they had with him.
So, of course, as it always happens, the league has opinions. So let's get into some of the takes across the league. Here's Aaron
I
Rodgers.
want to get your reaction to Phillip Rivers and him returning to the league.
I'm not the oldest guy in the league. I love that. It's pretty incredible, though, because he's been out for, I believe, 4 full seasons, plus this part of this season. I was laughing because a couple of my buddies hit me up asking what I would do in that situation. And I said, without missing a beat, I'm retired. I'm staying retired. So big credit to Phil. You know, I've been a fan of his forever. I've known him a little bit over the years. I just love the way that he competes and plays. Again, not the most gifted player, but cerebral as all get out. Hilarious trash talker, and I wish him nothing but the best. I've been a fan of his for a while, and I hope he goes out and it's just like riding a bike and he can jump right back into the saddle.
You know they're miking him up heavy today.
You know they're miking him up, and I got to give Rodgers credit. We've been hard on him before.
That was
like,
a perfect answer.
Yeah, and you want to know what that is? It's like I said, like
respect.
Yeah, it's a literal, hey, you guys are the old, literally, Rodgers, you're the old guard, and one of your old guard guys is unretiring to play. He's like, shit, that's just Phil. Like, for him, it's like, that's big Phil. Like,
that's it.
It's like, were you shocked he decided to do that? Him? No.
Me, though? I won't. I promise.
I wouldn't do it. But Phil?
That was so Aaron Rodgers of his nature. Now, speaking of quarterbacks and their nature, fortunately, Tom Brady has the appetite of a billionaire, and that has barred him from this ever becoming enticing to him again. Because you know, as he pumps his calves full of stem cells every day it gets enticing once again. But
Wait, I thought Tom Brady was coming out to play flag football.
Tom Brady cannot play in the NFL because he is a part owner of the Raiders. So because of that, he's barred from playing in the NFL. But don't kid yourself. It doesn't stop being enticing for him, especially if he does Saudi gimmicks playing for flag football teams.
Well, I think it's going to be the Olympic Games too. I think he's
Yeah.
going to play.
That's right. That's right. So, of course, Tom, we had to see what Tom's thoughts were on this.
Is going to play. Philip Rivers is going to play this week. If tomorrow, ring,
What the
Tom,
heck?
can you play? Philip Rivers is going to play this week. If I said to you tomorrow, ring, Tom, can you play Sunday? Could you generate drives?
Yes, I certainly could. But first of all, who retires and then unretires and then is ultimately going to retire? Who does that? I think the answer for me would be yes. But I'm very excited to watch Philip play because it speaks to, how much he loves the game and really what he's able to do still. And this game is about for the quarterback from the neck up. And that doesn't really go away. That's still up there. Do you have the physical ability to still do it, take the hits, make the throws? If Philip has been practicing those things, then we're all going to see it on full display in Seattle on Sunday afternoon.
I love how Tom's. It's just, I got to give him credit. What I love about his personality is he's so good at making fun of himself. Like he's so good at throwing in the jab. He's like, who does that? And it's like immediately, it's like he knows he did, and it's just like it's like such a good bit for him. But he's like right. And again, it's like that's old guard. It's like we've talked about it multiple times on this show. There is a problem with producing and developing young quarterbacks in this league. It seems like there's a insufficient coaching or whatever player development going on in these recent years to where you're really seeing like a disparity between like the good quarterbacks and the bad quarterbacks in this league. But like those old guard guys, there were so many really good quarterbacks that never won a ring back in our day. And it's like for him, it's like Tom, it's like, do I believe Tom Brady could suit up and generate drives? It's like, yes, I do. I 100% do. I think he can sling the rock. He's hard. He gets the defense.
For sure could help a team out.
Yeah,
as the Browns sitting here.
Look at Flacco. I mean, he's turned into a journeyman quarterback. It's every team he goes for. It's like, yeah,
and he ain't Tom Brady.
He's still pretty good. he's still pretty damn good.
Right.
And it's like that's why it's like I do look at Philip Rivers. I'm like, man, this is the last bastion of our childhood coming back just to seep in for a few weeks and see it.
So it is interesting while everybody else is enjoying this, and there's a huge wave of excitement. There's always going to be those haters, and read between the lines. No, because we're going to get to them actually. So starting off, here's Ryan Clark from ESPN. Boy, was he digging in deep.
This is foul, as the question asked. I believe this is incompetent, and I also believe it is irresponsible.
Oh,
this is not Michael Jordan coming back to play basketball after 3 years off of the Washington Wizards. This is a man in Philip Rivers, who was always a stationary target, taking 5 years off to coach high school football and then come back to play against the Seattle Seahawks, who will get after your keister if you were freaking Michael Vick. The one thing that Riley Leonard can do, because I watched him do it for 15 games last year, is get out of the way. If you watch the game against the Jacksonville Jaguars last week, he was able to use his legs, scramble, hit Alec Pierce. He had a late touchdown drive in that game. He's been there the entire season. By the way, the last 5 years, he's been playing football. He's been working out. He's been preparing to be an NFL quarterback. Philip Rivers has not. I think Philip Rivers had a Hall of Fame career. I don't believe he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, but when you walked into a stadium to play Philip Rivers, you had to tighten up your chin strap because you knew he was going to compete. If I'm the Seattle Seahawks, I want to see him move off the spot, and I want to see it from every point that he passes the football. I don't give a care how much you hand it to Jonathan Taylor. I don't care how great you think your defense can play. Philip Rivers should not be starting this game. And if he comes out and he plays well and he stays healthy, I'm not going to retract this statement because it is a bad decision to put him out there. And don't get me wrong. Somebody call me after 5 years and say you could play, I might go try to give him a play too. Philip ain't wrong. Shane Steichen and the Colts are.
I have a comment.
I was going to ask, so is this a strong take or a total miss?
I can't take his take seriously because I guarantee you he advocated for Colin Kaepernick to get back in the league for like the better half of a decade. So no, I think it's a dumb take. I think he's a bitter take. Literally what I said, can I guess a few of the people? He was going to be the first one I named. I'm like, I bet you Ryan Clark is going to have some problem with this, saying it's unfair, it's unreasonable. How dare they do something like this? And it's like, yeah, I bet you advocated for Colin Kaepernick for like 5+ years.
Dude,
It was unreal.
I do think it's funny. Kaepernick really didn't even come up. At least I haven't heard his name come up in this whole like thing about Philip Rivers, and that's got to be the first time in my mind that no one's been like, you should bring him back for the team.
It's so funny you guys have brought up that name, because the next person I have is becoming Colin Kaepernick before our eyes. I can't even stand his takes anymore, because it almost seems intentionally outrageous and unrealistic. And even more so, you just want to look at this person and go, you are no longer bound by the same reality the rest of us are, because you live in a delusional world that you think you are a better quarterback currently than you are. That's the Colin Kaepernick diagnosis. So now I present to you the new Colin Kaepernick, Cam Newton. If StreamYard wants to work. Let's see how long it's going to take. What a joke.
Indy, if they call.
Yeah. It's always like a slap in my face, bro.
All the things that you do in the media, do you come off like you're available?
We don't care.
Then, bro.
Did Philip Rivers send any type of signs that he was available? Why you asking me to do? Did Philip Rivers send any type of signs that he was available? Why you asking me to do something that everybody else didn't do? I ain't no lad, bro. Come on, bro.
You still are available.
Have you followed my snap?
Well, they want to call him and they don't want to call you. What's that? So his whole thing is like, have I made it clear that I'm working? Yeah. I didn't need to call. I don't need to solicit myself. Philip Rivers didn't need to solicit himself.
You ain't even retired yet.
I did not and will not, because of an opportunity like this.
He also was in that system, but still, like,
I don't give a damn if he was in their family. He's 44 years old, bro.
You got
How do
grandkids.
people hold Cam Newton to a standard that you're not holding everybody else?
Cam, did you say that you were still available? Cam, you're retired.
Does it matter if he's still available? Here's the thing. This is the Colin Kaepernick syndrome. That's why we call it that, because you're acting as if you didn't work out in front of scouts and scouts didn't see something they liked. That's not our fault.
For me, with Cam had that great 2-3 year period on the Panthers, and it reminds me so much of like Odell's one-handed catch. It's where it's kind of like, for him, it defined his entire career. And it's like, dude, by the last like 3-4 years you were in the league, like you were not that sufficient of like a NFL quarterback. Like, I'll give Philip Rivers credit. Again, he hasn't played 4 years, but I just looked it up. Cam Newton didn't retire. Excuse me. I don't want to
stopped playing.
Yeah, stopped playing in 2021 because no one signed it.
Right.
No one signed you. You're still an active player.
2021.
Yeah, 2021. No one signed you in those years. They called retired individual and said, "Hey, please unretire."
So let me ask you this. If the theory for Colin Kaepernick's delusion is that I'm really great, they don't want me because I hate cops and I take knees. That's the theory here. I'm still really good 15 years after playing. They have all conspired against me. Mm-hmm. And it's because I take knees and hate cops. Okay. Then I look at Cam Newton. Why are they conspiring against you? Because you have stupid hats and weird coats? Like, maybe it's just because you suck. Maybe it's because you've aged out. Maybe it's because you were a flash in a pan with a good team and you proved that you're not the finisher you think you are. When the weight's on your shoulders, you buckle. The league saw that. The league has evaluated that. The league in many other parts beyond Carolina have given you a chance. You aren't it.
He literally played for Belichick after Brady left, and Belichick was like,
boom.
Whenever I think of like Cam, I just think of that one play in the Super Bowl when he didn't jump on the fumble. It's like, I'm pretty sure Philip Rivers would lose a leg jumping for that football.
Right.
You know, like even at 44.
There's the dog.
You know,
you
like,
don't have it in you.
Something about it. And it's like, I'm not the biggest Cam Newton fan because, like, again, it's like him and Ryan Clark. Like, they just have these takes where it's like they're taking offense to it. And it's just like, buddy, this organization was lucky to have this relationship with Phillip Rivers where they could feel that we can get him on the phone and he would consider it. Like if the Arizona Cardinals or some other team called Phillip Rivers, that wasn't the Charger. Like if the Browns called him, he'd be like, no.
Yeah.
You know, like it'd be like, no, I'm good. I don't need to do that. The Colts, it's like, I know
their scheme.
I know the GM's daughter. Well, the GM's passed. It's now his daughter. And it seems she's very hands-on involved. Like you always see her like on the sidelines with a clipboard writing notes. And it's like in the 1 year she's been in charge, they're 8-4 doing really well. So it's like, again, you have people in that organization that have a personal relationship with him. That's why they called him. They didn't just call a random retired person saying, please, hey, unretire and come play for an organization. You know nobody here. He's like, no. Phillip Rivers, my family knows them. I know them. There is a ease of relationship walking into the building.
I live close.
Right.
That's a thing.
But it's like, it's for him. And it's like, just like the bitterness you see where it's like, then you have like the old guard guys like Tom and Aaron. They're like, dude, that's just Phil, man.
Well,
Phil would suit up whenever he could and still play.
Here's the truth. If we're looking for locker room mentality, we're not building from the beginning. We're not building a foundational season. I need somebody to get us to the finish line. Look at the mentalities across the league. Aaron Rodgers, hey, that's cool. Tom Brady, if I could, I would. Cheers to something like that. I've done it before. Cam Newton, just eaten by jealousy. Yeah, I want to bring you into my locker room for the last stretch of 5 weeks in hopes of getting to the end. No, I need somebody that like I guess what I'm really drawing upon. This isn't cultural. I'm not even saying anything other than character. You know, I was told that's something I could judge people by, nothing but their character. And there is something about these people's character, a Joe Flacco, a Phillip Rivers, a guy who is a family man, who isn't just some loudmouth recluse with a cigar in his hand on daytime TV, just yelling into the void. No one's listening to you, buddy. And these folks are family people that just wake up, work out, take care of the family, get them off to school, whatever, and focus on the homestead.
Yeah.
It's very easy to transplant that type of character into the routine of the NFL, what it requires of you within the short week span we need you for. It's seamless. And let's go back to that Browns season with Odell and all these other strong personalities. You take any one of those types of, take a Tyreek Hill. It doesn't matter in 10 years. Tyreek Hill is still Tyreek Hill. Take that personality into a locker room. That doesn't make it easy.
No. And it's like Cam. Phillip Rivers is still playing at a pretty high level when he retired.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't like, oh, like he's on his
it's almost like retiring on top makes it easier to come back than when the league is like, hey, dude, it's time to go, Cam.
Well, that's the thing. It's like if you were to ask most people who would you take, Phillip Rivers or Cam Newton, they'd say Phillip Rivers. It's like there's like Cam, you're not touching the Hall of Fame. There is an argument for Phillip Rivers to make the Hall of Fame. I personally think he should.
Right.
Even before he's out on retiring. I know some people would argue against because of the no Super Bowl thing, but it's like, you know, I think the guy's resume unbelievably speaks for himself. It's like, hey, Cam, you're right. You should take offense. And here's the bigger offense. It's not that they called Phillip Rivers, but they would rather not call Rivers and play the rookie than call you.
Boom.
That's ultimately for me how they would. It's like, oh, well, we couldn't get Phil. Well, we're not calling Cam Newton. We're just going to play the rookie now. Like that would have been their solve for that situation.
You literally nailed it.
Yeah.
You said it without saying it. The reason this upsets you, Cam Newton, and even Ryan Clark, why it upsets you isn't because of Phillip or any of the other connotations you want to read into it. The truth is it upsets you because it holds a mirror up to you.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
You know, you had a few great years in the league. You were an MVP, you know. That MVP season, I think of one play. Didn't jump on the fumble in the Super Bowl. Like I could still see it to this day. Like you didn't even touch the ground. It was like from media away. Didn't even jump on the ground. You know, so for me, it's like Phillip Rivers. It's like, I remember that dude fighting through his last snap to when he finally was like, you know what? I think now's the time I retire. He was 40 at the time, or maybe 39, kind of like an acceptable retired age. But now it's like, hey, here's the beauty, Phil. You only got to play at most 5 weeks. If you somehow don't make the playoffs, you get to go home and go back to coach high school football.
Right.
He's got the rest of his career lined up. It's just nice to see Phil back kind of talking again, because he's a likable dude. It's like, Cam, it's like, I could see why you rub people the wrong way.
Yeah.
Like I could see, like the Patriots.
That clip alone.
The Patriots organization, I don't think they'd consider, they'd call Tom. They'd be like, sell your ownership in the Raiders and come play for us for 6 weeks. Like they would be begging him to do that. Not you. Like not you. And it's like, listen, man, like you come off so unlikable. All I had to say was like, hey man, good for him. I hope it goes well. Don't have to elaborate further. Even if they goad you to try to talk more further and be like, hey, I hope he stays healthy. I hope the old man doesn't get hurt. And that's a reasonable thing to ask. Like, I don't want him to come back and snap his ACL. That'd be awful. That'd be like a horrible look. It's how I felt when we signed Joe Flacco this year. It's like, oh man, just don't get hurt, Joe.
Right.
Because you're pushing it. Like you're pushing age-wise. It all catches up to everybody. But it's like, for just a few weeks of excitement, it's fun. Like it's fun to talk about.
No, I agree. And with that, I couldn't be more excited for today to unfold how it's going to go for them against a true contender with the Seahawks. That's going to be a big fight. Now, closing out our NFL considerations before we get into the review of today's games, I do want to touch a little bit on, if we're going to talk about old guard, I want to talk a little bit about the new guard. Well, let's keep it brief. But, Shedeur really is shaping up into something that I'm not going to sit here and say he's a franchise quarterback, but he can play. Yeah. And it's making Stefanski out to be a real fool. And if we look at the last game, Stefanski truly lost that by himself. And it was a coaching blunder. And if I'm going to draw upon anything about Shedeur, if you were to look at the last few weeks where we've talked about him, something that has been a criticism of his play is he holds the ball too long or he'll run straight back. I want to reflect on this past week because something that showed true to me about Shedeur is he's coachable. Mm-hmm. Something that's really like, I talk about Colt McCoy and past quarterbacks whose fathers kind of were their coach their whole life. And that can sometimes have an impact on your coachability. And one thing that stood true to me in the last game, it's futile. Jerry Jeudy sucks, and that's your wide receiver one. Yeah. He doesn't have a lot of pieces to work with, but boy, does our rookie class look good. I love Judkins. That kid is a beast.
Cannon's shaping out pretty well.
Yeah, and Samson, you've got some pieces that are snowballing. And the thing that I want to really give Shedeur his flowers for is it's showing to me he's coachable. Mm-hmm. The things that we criticized him for, he's focused on and is creating those instances way less.
The kid definitely was given the opportunity. He's trying to make the most of it. And I think he's the thing we've talked about, like, again, it's a Stefanski thing. It's like, I think he's fighting an uphill battle. The fortunate thing in his favor is like the eyeball test. Kid can make plays. Yep. Kid can make throws. The kid can play. Do I think he's franchise? Still too early. Way too early. I think if you're jumping to that conclusion, you're jumping a little bit quick, which is fine to get excited. But it's like the kid can play. But it's like when you're in that game and you do the 2-point conversion the first time and it fails and again, he's not on the field for either play.
You have 2.5 minutes left. You're down. Yep. 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
And Shedeur delivers on 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, no.
And he's not in on the extra point twice or 2-point conversion both times.
Yep. And and it's just it's such a Stefanski headache thing. And it's I don't know how I know how they are going to bring him back because it's this organization and they always do everything we think they shouldn't do. But I don't know how they justify to the fans not firing him. You get what I mean? Because it's like, the whole like Dylan, the Dylan Shedeur kind of like, who should it be? Who should it be? Who should it be? It's like, it clearly should be Shedeur. And then you have Stefanski just make absolute coaching blunder after coaching blunder.
Dude, I think, Will, it all stems from like I don't think Stefanski wanted Sanders at all. Like the look on our draft room face when we took him, no one seemed excited. Like when we took Gabriel, everybody was kind of like, yeah. And Sanders, it was just kind of like, yeah, you know, like.
So here is a question for Stefanski directly addressing that. Like, hey, do you have regrets for ever picking Gabriel and especially forcing him down our throat for this long?
Was it a mistake not to start Shedeur earlier?
Yeah, I'm not going to get into those type of things.
You should.
Tony, I'm obviously focused on what's in front of us.
About the second 2-point conversion, Batonio said after the game, you guys were repping that play back in Philadelphia. I remember seeing it myself. But the fact is, Judkins was not with you in Philadelphia. So did he get reps Friday on that play?
He did.
How'd he do?
We ran the play.
I'm sure
So
he did, but like again, why is Shedeur not on the field? Like that should have been see. That's when I'd look at the report and be like, "Listen, I don't agree with the play call. Yourself and Judkins isn't there." The question should have been, "Why was Shedeur not on the field for both 2-point conversions?"
Well, even like Shannon Sharp points out, he goes in a play that inevitably ends up with a pass, and your passer isn't out there. That's a mess up.
Yeah,
dude. And every now and then, like. Maybe one 2-point conversion, you know, you do try to do the Wildcat, you know, you try that, but 2 2-point conversions, they pulled them out. Like one is easier to explain away, but then a pass play where you pull them out makes 0 sense.
Wait, sorry, I'm trying to direct you. So with that consideration going on, I can't have this show without pulling out some conspiracy theory. I have my theory for why Stefanski is the way it is, this relationship. There's clearly a riff. There's something there. Doug's theory is that, you know, look at the room when we got this pick. They all looked upset. It seems like the pick came from above their heads, and Stefanski clearly hates that he's forced into this relationship. What would that riff stem from? Well, I want to take you back to, I believe it was 1992. Take a look here.
Locker room. Broadcasters never like it. It burns, it smells, it ruins your clothes. Last night, Deion Sanders apparently upset with Tim McCarver's criticisms of his 2 day last Sunday. Felt like he would gain a measure of revenge.
So this is news. I want to first tell you, in 1992, there was this water dump incident between Deion Sanders and Tim McCarver. This is coming from a lingering bad blood over comments McCarver made about Deion during the 1992 MLB postseason. So in 1992 NLCS, Deion Sanders was playing baseball for the Atlanta Braves while also being an NFL star. Broadcaster Tim McCarver criticized Sanders on the air, suggesting that Deion wasn't fully committed to baseball and even implying he played the game the wrong way. Deion took the comments personally and felt McCarver was questioning his professionalism and respect for baseball. So this resulted in a water dump incident that we're going to get to here. During the 1992 World Series, Sanders deliberately dumped a bucket of water on McCarver during a live broadcast. It wasn't spontaneous. It was spontaneous. Deion later made it clear it was intentional payback for the criticism. So the moment became infamous as one of the most awkward live TV incidents in sports broadcasting. McCarver said he was embarrassed and upset. That's important. Grudges don't go away. Sanders largely brushed it off and stood by his reaction. It cemented Deion's reputation at the time as both electrifying and confrontational, especially with the media. So let's get to this infamous incident from the 1992 World Series.
Not with champagne, but by dousing McCarver with 4 tubs of ice water. McCarver was furious. So was CBS Sports. Rick Gentile, their producer, complained to National League President Bill White last night. McCarver wants a meeting with White as soon as he can get one. And after this confrontation, Tim McCarver confronted Sanders.
Who's McCarver?
McCarver's right here. Right now. Here you go. I got some real man. You know that? You are a real man, Deion. I'll say that.
So, why is this noteworthy? Who's Tim McCarver? What does that have to do with Stefanski? Interesting you ask. Baseball legend broadcaster Tim McCarver is related to NFL coach Stefanski. That's Stefanski's father-in-law. Boom.
This is fun.
Grudges run deep. You picked on my daddy. Well, I'm picking on your boy.
This is like Professor Snape in Harry Potter.
Wow. Quite literally.
Yeah.
Quite literally.
Yep.
Oh my God, Will.
Yeah.
So I gotta say, I can't pretend there's nothing to this.
Here, this is, I know what it is. It's the great last straw in the Stefanski era.
Yeah.
Because we've been out on him for way before Shador, right? So now it's like, oh, okay, yeah, let's add this to the mix. This is what you also were pissed off about.
Well, and okay, you come from a family of infamous sports broadcasters. We've peeled back other weird conspiracy theories about like Gabriel, the Giants, and Stefanski all sharing a management group. It's something that I take from this season more than anything is Stefanski is way more focused on being a player in the corporate being a cog in this corporate machine, way more than just being a damn good coach. And he's got the family to back it up. His history, everything about his nature is, well, I just got to keep the money mill moving. I don't care what team I'm playing for. I don't even care what the success is, as long as my manager can put me somewhere, working somewhere.
I got to give Dion credit, not for what he did, but I'm giving Dion credit for not bringing any of this up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's impressive, dude.
You know what I
He hasn't
mean?
mentioned it at all.
And you're like, Shador probably doesn't even know about it. Well,
I'm sure
he
they
does.
know.
I'm sure he does, but he didn't like when he got drafted. I'm sure like he's like, oh, I didn't talk. You did what, Dad? Like, you know, now it's like, oh, this is juicy. This is great. This is up there. You know, and it's like for me, it's like just another thing with like it's like how I've always said about Stefanski. He just doesn't seem like a football guy.
Right.
You know, like,
that's what I mean.
He's like a football guy, but it's like,
I guess what I'm trying to politely say is he seems more of an actor than an actual coach.
Yes.
Just I'll fill the void, I'll play the part, give me the script, and I'll do the dance. But at his heart, he don't know ball.
yeah.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah, the real plot twist in all of this is like if you find out Stefanski actually hates his father-in-law, and then you're just like, oh, you just hate this kid then. Like you just like there's no grudge. You just don't like the kid. Made it even weirder. This is like, oh, okay.
No, we don't have wives, so we're not as exposed to it. But coming home every night, that's the guy that got my dad. Trust me. He doesn't that doesn't go unaddressed, unacknowledged.
Like, what a stupid comment by that broadcaster. Like, what a dumb. You're not devoted. He's literally an all-star and an all-pro player
in two professional sports.
Like, there's not many that do that.
There's not
many,
and every single one that did, all three of them are infamously spoken about. They're forever ingrained in sports history.
Yeah.
I think of Bo Jackson.
Thanks.
Well, yeah, like just
Yes.
another one, but like again, it's just
Not Michael Jordan, Bo.
But like, yeah, but like again, another. Like,
There's three, Doug.
like-
you named him.
I know. But Bo-
Do you?
Ball
Bo
knower.
is who I love.
Ball knower.
Ball knower.
I know the most famous of the three.
Yeah.
Bo's
You know,
my favorite one. Sue me.
but that's the thing. It's like it's just such a. This is all just been an unraveled mess, and I give Dion credit for not saying it because if 6 weeks in, he would have said something about it.
But it also, that's why this all kind of illuminates more than what we realize. I don't know if you saw the videos of I think it was Haslam hosted Dion at some event, and they're tight.
Mhm.
I think the organization has already moved on. It's kind of like mom and dad have kind of signed the papers and the divorce is going through. We're just kind of living in this house together for the next month and a half. I think the stage has been set.
Wait,
If this guy ends up at the Giants in the next season, go back a couple weeks. We already had our finger on the pulse. I think this guy's already got his connection at his next stop. And part of the deal was, I bet you he walked in day one. I'm not working with these people. Why? Because our family blood. We hate each other. Oh, and from that, it was kind of a phasing in of this new guard and a phasing out of, hey, let's amicably depart and we'll keep it blind to the public.
The only positive thing that could have gone Stefanski's way, if Shador was really not good. right? Like if he went out there and was really just like not good, but it's like, no, the kid could play. Like the kid could play enough to where it's like, yeah, like I'm putting these losses. Like again, you lose to San Francisco. I blame a lot on the coaching, but it's like you're playing a good team. You're playing Tennessee, and it's like the kid had a really good game. He had like the one blunder throw, the one pick, but it's like, hey, the kid threw well. The kid played well. There's things he's got to work on. But for this to be, I know you mentioned this to me the other day. You had like a conspiracy theory, and you couldn't wait to show me. Oh man, I loved it. I loved every bit of it. I'm all in. I couldn't be further not far away from it. I was like, I'm all in on it.
So as far as Browns excitement goes, I got a question for the studio. Here's Barstool's Ohio's Tate that has a question for Browns fans, and I want to see what your answers will be.
The forecast for the Browns at Bears game on Sunday is calling for temperatures to get to as low as negative 20 degrees with the wind chill. For reference, the coldest game in Soldier Field history came on December 22nd, 2008, when it was 2 degrees at kickoff with a minus 13 wind chill on Monday Night Football. But here's the thing about the Bears this year. They're 9-4. They're right in the middle of the playoff race. Now, the Browns, on the other hand, are 3-10, and they are right in the middle of the race for the #1 overall draft pick. So while tickets could be pricey for the home team's fans that still have something to cheer for, my question is to the Cleveland Browns fans. How much would you have to get paid to go to this game? You have to go from opening kickoff through the final whistle. You have to stand out there in the freezing cold, watching the Browns inevitably lose 31-13 in embarrassing fashion. But as soon as you walk out the gates of Soldier Field, the usher will hand you an envelope filled with cash. And the question is this: how much cash would you need it to be?
How much cash would you need it to be? Starting with Will.
I'm just gonna I'm not gonna say something ridiculous, but like if I'm going all the way to Chicago, I'd want $5,000.
Okay.
Like
I get
all the travel expenses. I want the $5,000.
Would you pay $5,000? No.
Absolutely not. I don't pay $10 to go down.
Hence why we're going to our living room. So, Doug, how much would it have to be for you?
Expenses paid, a hotel room and gas. I'd go. Screw it. And I think it's funny because my cousin willingly bought a ticket.
That's it? Wait, just hotel and gas? So yours is probably like $1,200?
I've never been to Soldiers Field. So if they were going to pay
That's pretty easy to get out there.
Pay for my gas, my turnpike, I'd go. I've never been to Soldier Field.
This one's a cheap date. That's a good thing, though.
Hey,
you're telling
minus
me, okay,
20 degrees.
What if it was Lambeau Field? You're telling me you wouldn't want to get
It's not.
I know, but I've never been to Soldier Field, so I'd like to go.
I mean, I hear you there.
If I'm gonna go and pay, if I'm going to get paid to watch the product that I don't get paid to watch in my living room in negative 20 degrees, and I got to go to another city for, and they're offering me an envelope of cash to go do it, I'd be like $5,000. I won't just say, just pay for the hotel.
Wait. The whole point of the thought experiment is what's the lowest you would possibly take? $5,000 seems pretty reasonable.
No, the lowest, I would just go then like 3. I thought it was just like if I were to pick $1.
Well, sure, I'll pick $1 million. Like,
well, no. I'm saying like within reason. You said low. I didn't understand. You meant like the lowest. I thought you meant like just number I'd throw out there right away. I'd say 5. But if it was like what would be the lowest to where I wouldn't go any lower if they kept offering lower, it'd be 3. $3,000.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, and again, I could see myself being kind of like Doug. No, I take that back because here's the truth: if I go expenses paid, the ticket is going to be not warm, right? Like I'm not going to be in a club seat. I'm not going to be covered. So freezing in Chicago would take a lot to get me out there.
Browns gear.
But I do love Chicago.
Well, that's all I wear.
I like Chicago. So
unfortunately,
yeah, I love Chicago too. It's negative 20 in Soldier Field, and I could give a damn about going to Soldier Field.
Yeah.
Like I don't have like this longing, like oh my god, it's like a baseball stadium.
Well, thank you. That's exactly what my comment was to be. It's very different than baseball, where every football field is pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Like once going to Tampa is going to be different. They have a pirate ship, but guess what? When you go to Heinz, isn't too much different than Progressive.
Yeah,
or whatever the hell we got. I can't
what is it
remember
called
anymore.
now? Huntington, right?
That's why it's like for me, it's like they're offering to pay me. I'm just not going to be like, yeah, just pay for the expenses. I'll be like, no, I actually want to get a profit.
Yeah,
now
but
too.
my expenses is food, alcohol, ticket, gas, turnpike, hotel, Uber. Like I'm talking all expenses paid. And trust me, I'd take advantage of those expenses.
There you go. Well, it's just going to come out of the money. Anyway, let's get to a little bit of college before we wrap up the episode here with the review of today's games. Wow, did we have some developments in college football this week? Imagine going from the heights of this, whatever this is.
Oh, that Coach Harbaugh. Fucking love you, man. Love the shit out of you, man. Did this for you. For this university, president, our AD. We got the best players, best university, best alumni in the country. Love you guys.
Love you guys. And we go from that to this.
Mr. Moore, could you
overnight.
state your name, please?
Jerome Moore.
Sir, you are not to use alcohol, marijuana, or any other controlled substance that is not prescribed to you. You are not to possess or purchase a firearm or any other dangerous
You can have these Buckeyes.
You are not to engage in criminal conduct of any kind whatsoever.
Finds out the judge is from Columbus.
You may not leave.
Big woof. Yeah, judges from Columbus. That's a tight one. Hey, Mr. Harbaugh, he was crying for you. What do you have to say about this?
Still processing that. Heard that.
Us too.
Dude,
yeah, Joseph told me one of our equipment guys were coming off the field on Thursday. So it still processing that, like a lot of people, I'm sure.
Still processing. That's what my attorney
I'm still
gave
processing. He got caught for all the things I knew he was doing. I can't believe it.
me. Yeah. But did you see the girl?
Here's the way I'm just going to simply put it. I'm just going to simply put it this way. We as Ohio State fans, we have a reputation. We embrace it completely. Like, we don't hide away from it. We knew exactly the kind of individual Urban Meyer was, and we still embrace him. That's a Buckeye man through and through. And Urban Meyer doesn't act like he's not like that either. Urban Meyer is very honest.
Well, guess what? Urban Meyer still is nowhere near this territory.
No, but that's what I'm getting to. Then you have Michigan, right? The Michigan man. We're honest, integrity, leadership. Yeah. The two biggest scandals in the last 5 years of college football are now out of your program, and they are way bigger than Tattoo-Gate ever was, and way bigger than Urban Meyer's assistant coach having a domestic dispute with his wife, causing Urban Meyer to get fired from his position. You know, those two, in comparison to now your two most recent ones, absolutely bury what ours were.
Oh, 10
so
times
for
10.
Me, it's like the term Michigan man either needs to go away, or we as people that aren't Michigan fans need to completely change and be like, oh, you lie, cheat, and steal. That's what it is. That's what the Michigan man thing is.
Yeah. Michigan man is the same as being an Astro.
Yeah. And,
Dude,
you know, it's
Will,
yeah.
I sent you guys an article, CNN article. Anyone can look it up. It listed at the beginning of the article about 10 offenses within the last 10 years for the University of Michigan. Not just football. Football was a few.
Well, and again, it takes an incident like this for the conspiracies around when Ohio State's equipment malfunctions during the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Ryan Day goes, yeah, we kind of expected that to happen. It was right on par with playing against Michigan. Then you look at a rap sheet like that and it goes, this is what it means to be a Michigan man.
Yeah. It's like Sharon Moore's brother, by the way, was in charge of the IT for the headsets during that game.
Okay, well, there you go.
So just like that came out and everybody's like, it's here. Here's one thing I will say. There's only two people in this entire situation I feel bad for, and it's his wife and his kids.
Oh, yeah.
Outside of that, I don't feel bad at all. This is
anyway.
rightfully deserved. You reap what you sow. I do not care. Anybody who says this is a sad story, you are an idiot and you are complacent and you're trying to preserve something with Michigan in some way. No. This needs to be a complete finger point and one of the most prestigious college football programs in the history of college football. They're the winningest program in college football. You need to point at it. If you have Michigan fans, and I have ones that are close, literally in my family, I will not stand to hear the word Michigan man as like an endearing term for Michigan people going forward. I'll be like, no. You would not let Jim Trussell live down the Tattoo-Gate thing, which he had nothing to do with. His players were doing it, and he took the fall for. And then the Urban Meyer scandal. And again, Urban Meyer, we all know he's skeezy. We're not Ohio State fans. We're the Ohio State fans, and we'll tell your kids that Santa's not real, and we do not shy away from being called that, labeled that. We don't care. Your program is built on the Michigan man standard. We stand for integrity. literally outside of the Penn State scandal from like 20 years ago now, you guys are now the two biggest scandals in college football history since then.
It's true.
And your two programs in the Big Ten are the most pompous, arrogant, we're elitists in the Big Ten kind of attitude out there. I would do not let them kind of slide through because they got just a slap on the wrist for the cheating scandal, which, by the way, in the court of public opinion, I understand you guys didn't have any of your wins and stuff vacated. In the court of public opinion, outside of the Michigan men people that you
Asterisks.
are, everybody's like, yeah, you cheated. We all know you cheated. We're not saying you don't deserve
the
your national
Astros.
championship, but like the Astros, they still have their World Series. I'm not saying take that away. We all know. Everybody knows you're completely 100% unequivocally guilty. And Jim Harbaugh, I think, is infinitely more scuzzier than Urban Meyer, because at least Urban Meyer, from the outlook and the way he behaves, is like, I am that guy. I don't shy away from it. We just embrace him because he's our guy. Jim Harbaugh will go up there and be like, he had this speech. He's like, you shouldn't lie, cheat, or steal. Like, I was raised on those three values.
Oh, wait.
Literally, your Michigan program is caught for doing all three of those things. And for you to act like, oh, I didn't do anything, and then immediately jump to the NFL to get out of any type of reprehensible behavior that you did at Michigan is awful. They should call him out for that. You are a half the man that your brother John is.
Doug.
Dude, he channeled his inner Nixon. I am not a crook.
Yep.
Dude, he is the Nixon of college football. deny, but we got proof.
So with other developments in college football, on a more exciting end of things, we were able to crown our Heisman Trophy winner. And I want to get everybody's opinion because I like somebody who has honor and integrity. You could tell Mendoza has strong character, but then he is such, I don't know how else to put it. You're such a weirdo. I love the speech. It's a beautiful thing, but also mommy,
this is your trophy as much as it is mine. You've always been my biggest fan. You're my light. You're my why. You're my biggest supporter. Your sacrifices, courage, love, those have been my first playbook and the playbook that I'm going to carry through my side through my entire life. You taught me that toughness doesn't need to be loud. It can be quiet and strong. It's choosing hope. It's believing in yourself when the world doesn't give you much reason to. Together, you and I are rewriting what people think is possible. I love you.
You know, kind of a dork.
Nice speech.
kind of a dork, beautiful speech, but it's like we had the Big Ten championship and we were all like, I don't know if we really want to make that the heart of your team or heart of your locker room.
Flipping.
And now you're seeing this and you're like,
Here's
mommy?
Here's the thing, though. I'm pretty sure he is Spanish, so I think he meant it M-A-M-I, mommy. I think that's how they say mom. I'm not 100% sure.
You know what? I'll take you on that.
Yeah, like I could be 100% wrong, and if I am wrong, please correct me in the comments, but that's how I kind of internalize it. But I am with you. I do.
There's just something quirky, but you know what? I'll take quirky over ghetto 10 times over.
Here's the thing. I did like I don't want to, kind of dump on that speech much because I did find out his mom has MS. So like it is like one of those
Well, and again, being a single mother to raise a homestead where you can have this level of success, that's a beautiful thing.
I mean, isn't his brother the backup quarterback for them? Because I remember his brother went in the game against Ohio State, and I was like, holy crap. Like, that's pretty cool.
So let's get into our looks into week 15. We had Thursday night football. This was so much a closer game than I anticipated. I can't believe, we were kind of anticipating the Buccaneers to roll through this, but admittedly at the same time, the Falcons have been doing a little bit better the second half of the season. Shocked it played out that way. And it was, I don't know if you saw the exchange, but seeing the quarterbacks come together, there's still the acceptance that like Baker, go get it for us. He's the one carrying the torch. Now let's get into our Sunday football games. Just right off the bat, I think the Browns are getting walloped.
I'm not sure but I couldn't even predict this score just with the weather, but I'm taking the Bears with you.
Got to take the Bears, but the weather's going to be a part and the defense is going to be relevant. Ravens, Bengals, this is going to be a very close game. I want to go with the Bengals.
I think the Bengals are going to win. There's something
off
with Baltimore.
There really is. There really is. Yeah. Cardinals, Texans.
Texans are on the search.
They're hunting.
And Arizona's been plagued by injuries all year.
Blood's in the water. They could smell it. I'm going with Texans. Jets, Jaguars. This is Jags. Easy. Chargers, Chiefs.
6-7.
6-7. Chiefs sitting there with their 6-7 record. I think Justin Herbert looked like a real asshole this past game. I don't know if you saw a lot of his bits before the game, the after game. It's just like this guy has a lot going on inside his head. Chiefs are going to be the stronger team, I think, going into this game, but I'm still going with the Chargers. They've got it figured out, but
I'm gonna go Chiefs just because I want them to throw a monkey wrench into the Chargers.
I'd like
kind
that
of playoff poll. Because I think the Chiefs are kind of out of it.
But
It's
I
just
also
like
think
just throw
the
like kind of.
Chiefs, their coach, their staff, they're gonna look past where they're at in the record, and I think they're still gonna have a hell of a game either way.
exactly. I think the Chiefs are coming in the more put
I'm also
together team.
anti-Harbaugh at the moment, so like just anything
That
if
too,
I am.
yeah.
Bills, Patriots. I think I'm going with oof.
Here's the thing. Bills
This is a good
have
game.
to win. Bills
have to win.
They have to, yeah.
But this is going to be a
going-
darn good game.
I'm going to go with the Bills. I think the Bills are going to pull this one out.
I think they have to, but I'm a fence sitter on this one. I could really see the Patriots being the Bills. Just they're not getting to the finish line these last few weeks. I'm going with the Patriots.
Like, Josh Allen seems to set the terms for the team, and if he's hot, team's hot all around. But when he is cold, they have been cold.
I agree.
So I'm scared because I have Josh Allen in fantasy too. And
Great. All right, great. So Commanders, Giants, looking at getting towards the end of our 1:00 games. I think it's going to be the Commanders, but the Giants should be the better team.
I'll go with the Giants.
I think they're the more put together roster right now.
Yeah. I mean, like Washington just hampered by injuries all year.
Right. No, I agree. This is going to be, of two crappy teams, a good game at least. Looking at the Raiders, the Eagles 10 times over.
Eagles.
And if they lose, it's an upset. All right, let's get to our 4:00 games. The Packers, Broncos. I'm going with the Broncos.
Yeah, I'm going with the Broncos.
They are
Got a really
strong
good
right
defense.
now.
Got a really good defense.
They really do. And that's been holding up. That's been stopping the Packers this season is the defense. Lions, Rams. This is a great game. I'm going with the Rams.
I'm going with the Rams. Crybaby Campbell is going to be on the podium again today.
I really want the Lions. I'm just saying.
Panthers, Saints. I'm going to be looking at the Panthers. But you know what's funny is look at the last week's game with the Saints.
Yeah.
It's like, what the heck team was this? Yeah. Don't be surprised when they show up and really humble the Panthers. But I really do think those 6-game losses the Panthers are carrying really doesn't reflect how strong their team is this year.
So
Colts, Seahawks. This is the most exciting game of the weekend, I think.
it's the most interesting game.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, give it the most interesting.
I cannot wait to get back and watch this game.
Seahawks.
I'm
gonna go with Seahawks. Like,
Seahawks got to be the team, but boy, do I want it to be the Colts.
Oh,
boy,
what a topic that would be for us next week.
One can
It
hope.
would turn into the Phillip Rivers weekly update.
That's right. Titans, 49ers. 49ers need this, and the Titans need to be humbled. They got to feel a little good last week. I don't know who did that for them. Sunday evening game, Vikings, Cowboys. This is going to be a close game, Cowboys.
Cowboys, yeah. Cowboys are exciting. Like they
They are.
Yeah.
They're moving this.
They're just like an entertaining game.
Especially the second half of the season. And the Vikings just feel like they're driving with flat
I
tire.
hate that they're called America's team, but I have had fun watching them this year.
They're feisty.
Looking at the Monday night football game, 6-7, 7-6, 6-7, 7-6, 6-7, 7-6.
We called it 3 weeks ago. They
That's
went on a
it.
3-game run, so we'll take it.
I think the Steelers are going to really – I can't believe the Dolphins have turned their season around the way they did. I mean,
they did get rid of a player in the locker room. Like, I wonder if that
it is
kind of
some
happened.
again. It keeps coming back to how much of an effect a healthy locker room, just that the environment has an impact. I think the Steelers are going to be the better team, but this is going to be a good fight. Unfortunately,
I'm going to go with the Steelers. It'll be interesting without J.J. Watt because he is out.
Yeah, that's
or T.J. Watt. Excuse me.
Good point. Good point. All right, now the whole purpose of the live show we do our parlay picks of the week, and our goal is to make you money. So we had one loss on our parlay pick. We each one in the studio picks one, and Will's pick didn't make it. So Doug, why don't you click on over to Will?
Extremely lucky.
So we're clicking on over to Will. Will, take your punishment for missing the parlay pick this past week.
I do feel bad. I got lucky. Right before HN got hurt, he hit that mark for me.
This one's not going down.
Will's having a tough time. He looks like he's going to fall over.
That was bad.
That was rough.
It was like you were pushing it out instead of coming
You guys called it out, and like I hiccuped on the second. And I was just like, oh, just you know what? Like, just don't fight it.
That's
Don't
right.
fight it.
All right. So again, we do that because the purpose is to make you money. We got to win. So we got to enhance the incentives. Me and Doug keep delivering. So I'm going with Judkins again. He's been kicking butt. I haven't missed with him. So we're going rushing and receiving 80+ yards. Doug's going with DeAndre Swift, rushing, receiving 60+, and Will's going 100+ yards by Smith Najigba, and I think this is going to be a winner. So if you want to get in on the fun, be sure to head on over and join, because we're set on making you money. But guys, we appreciate you joining us. We're here every Sunday, so hopefully you enjoy this fun week of football. Let's lock in and see some good Phillip Rivers, and I'm hoping he humbles the rest of the haters. But we appreciate you guys joining us. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe and hit the notification bell, because we're here each week, and you don't want to miss it. But with this show, the show prior to this in the morning, we have our reactions channel and all our other fun, the podcast and our live show on Tuesdays. You can find it in one central place, and that's at our website at www.rethinktankpodcast.com. But otherwise, guys, we'll catch you next week. Peace.